Welcome everyone to a new episode of today's Youth. And today we will be talking about the new technological universities that were established recently here in Egypt. These universities are expected to transform the way of thinking of the new generations. We will also be introducing a new segment to our show, which will be presented by Farah Hatem and Mohammed Fauzi. It will be a 15-minute spot from youth to youth. Now we will be back with our first segment, and our guest today is Fatma Mansour, and she's an English instructor at one of the new technological universities. Hello, Fatma, and thank you for joining us.
Hello, thanks for inviting me today. It's my appreciation to have me today.
Well, thank you, Fatma. Fatma, I'd like you first to tell me more about your education and your studies before digging into your career as an English instructor.
Okay, first of all, I graduated from Faculty of Education English Department, Manufaa University. And after that, I started from the scratch. In the second year, my faculty started to work as English tutor. And after that, in the next year, when I was in the third year, I started to work as English instructor in a place which is called the Honest Mentor Academy. After that, I worked in different places until I reached to be the administrator of English at the university.
Right. Fatma, why did you choose teaching as your career? How did your passion for teaching start?
Actually, I didn't choose this university and this faculty to enter this the career of education and being a teacher. Actually, my parents chose that for me. But now, if I go back again to this period of time, I would choose it again, and I would choose the same department and the same faculty. And I find that I find myself here in this career, and I have a passion about it. That when you have a good rapport with the student and you have a smile from them, and when you see that you learn something, and you see the parents how they are very happy with their students and their grades and results, and how they pray for you all the time, that thing that make me very happy. And I feel that God put us in the right way, that I feel myself very talented in teaching and giving information into others.
Right. Fatma, as an English instructor, what methods of teaching do you follow with your students?
Actually, first of all, when I started to work, I was like a traditional teacher. I just give the student the vocab and the grammar in a very traditional way, until I think that I want to do something different and want to make the students interact with me in the class. And I find some students, they are unable to receive all of this information by this way. So I start to make a lot of search until I reach that there are a lot of courses which are related to methodology and teaching, and I had to take these courses. So I take TOEFL course and FELT course and TESOL course also. All of these courses, they are related to how to teach the English language in indirectly, not indirect. Okay, so I started to use the active learning in my classes. I start to make the students to be like active doer, not passive receiver. I give them the information, and they continue to to understand it more and more. They start to search about it to get it by themselves. And my role here to be like a facilitator, to be a supervisor, not the like to give them the information by spoon. No, I start to make activities to make them play in the class, and so on. That's it.
Mhm. Right. So they are more like active participants in the classes.
Yes.
Now, Fatma, talking about the new technological universities, which are expected to focus more on science and technology, what's the criteria for acceptance in these universities?
So the criteria of acceptance in these universities, in our faculty, we accept students from both high schools education or high school students and industrial education students.
Okay.
And after that, we make something like acceptance test, and this test is have three different parts. The first part about English skills, as the students here in this faculty, they have all the subjects and curricula in English language, so they must have a good language. Also, the second part is about the computer universities, so the student must have a prior knowledge about how to deal with computers and laptops. And the third part is some general information about mathematics, as a student here in our faculty study mathematics basics and so on through the academic years. So these are the criteria of acceptance, and also an average score after the high school education or industrial education.
Right. In your opinion, what are the most important short-term and long-term impacts of or effects of these universities on development here in Egypt?
Yes, it has a more significant impact in the short term and the long term. So let's start by the short term. In the short term expectation, I think here the student, graduates from these universities or these faculties, they will be totally different from other universities, because as they are in these universities, they having practical and theoretical part. But here the practical part is more than the theoretical one. They are start to apply everything and touch everything by their hands and start to learn everything by themselves. Also, the way of teaching in these universities and these faculties is totally different. As I told you, we are dealing with indirect methods of teaching and education. So I expect that each student in these universities throughout the 4 years, they will be able to search for the information by themselves, to have a good language, because they have English language subject of course through these years. And also he will have a practical trial with dealing with factors, because he has a training in every summer through the industrial factors. So this is the short term. The graduate will have, when he graduate, the student when he finish his faculty and get graduate, I think he will not find the great gap between the university or what he has studied and the law mark. But in the long term, these students, I think they will find easily a lot of places they can work, like factories, industrial factories, or companies, and whatever according to their major or specialization, because they already have a very practical part in their studies. So in the long term, we can find a lot of jobs for these students.
And how far will the graduates of these universities, in your opinion, be ready or prepared for the job market here in Egypt?
Yes, the faculty tries to keep up with the requirements of the local and international labor market, and they are doing that through providing students with a lot of different training, through the training through the academic year or the summer training and so on. They are making some training in the industrial factors in the region throughout the area behind the university, and also they are making some visits which is make the students more fraction to have a fraction with the practical things. They go to these factors and touch the things with their hands and deal with it. They see the machines and how they works and so on. So the faculty tries to give the students as much of training as it can to make the students have a professional training and have it will be easy for him to have or to deal with the labor market after his graduation.
Mhm. Right. Fatima, now Germany and Japan are among the leading countries when it comes to technological or technical education. What experience, in your opinion, can we follow here in Egypt?
Yes. There is no doubt that China and Germany are from the leading country in technology. And I hope that, and I expect that Egypt will be soon in the next future, one of these countries also in the same race and the same road. As Egypt here, we can see started to build a lot of technical universities. So it means that we are have a knowledge or a perspective about the future, and that it's related to technological and technology and so on. So here, by building these universities and try to have professional students, after that they have a great work in some factors that they will be built or already built. So that will make Egypt one of these countries soon, inshallah. And it's a great lead to the development of the country.
And how far is the success of these universities from your experience so far?
I think it will be very successful, from my opinion, because as I told you before, it's very different from the traditional universities, from the theoretical ones. Here, the students have 60% practical and just 40% theoretical. So it's very totally different from what we have before in our education. So I think it will be very successful, because here the student will learn something, and when he graduates, he will find the same thing in front of him in the factories and so on. So he will not find the gap or difference between what we have told him in the university and what he is seen in the factory or in his work. So he will find the same. So the student will not waste a lot of time after his graduation to take some courses again to try to deal with the labor market. So he will automatically be suitable for these jobs. That's
right.
it.
Well, I would like to thank you very much for joining us, Fatma Mansour, English instructor at one of the new technological universities. All the best of luck to you, and thank you. It was a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Naveen, for the warm welcome and for introducing us, and welcome to our first TV spot from Youth to Youth, presented by myself and Mohammed.
Today's episode will be about a group of university students who were able to rank first in Enactus. Enactus is an international student-driven organization aiming at innovating entrepreneurial ideas to transform the lives. Among 32 countries, Azhar Universities was able to take the first place.
Our guest for today is Iman Shawi, Head of Presenters. Thank you so much, Iman, for joining us. We're absolutely thrilled to have you. So, Iman, please give me an idea or like a brief about your project, and also tell me, how did you even develop such a great idea, along with your team, of course, in the first place?
Okay, before I start talking about my project, I have to talk about Enactus. What is Enactus? It is NGO, non-governmental organization. It happens it is in more than 32 countries outside in Egypt and outside Egypt. In Egypt, it exists in 63 universities all over Egypt. Every year there is a university that every university or each university has its own project, and they introduce the project to Enactus national competition. With each competition, there is only one champion. That champion goes to compete under the name of Egypt outside Egypt. They compete in America. After that, there is one worldwide champion or one world champion, which was us this year. So this is briefly Enactus. What was our project? Our project was, it happened in a lake, Karun Lake in Egypt. That lake was producing more than 55% of shrimps nationwide. Then came a parasite known as Isopoda that killed most of the fish living there. It decreased the productivity to less than 10%. The fishermen started to emigrate, leaving their houses, and started to search for new jobs, while women there started to working for peeling shrimps, working for more than 12 hours to earn barely 40 cents a day. And then the children left schools and started to work with their families, carrying the burden of being responsible for a whole family. After that, we decided to help them. We found out that the shrimps that they, the shrimp shells that they throw or peel contains lots of things. So our R&D team started to have the first phase by transforming the shrimp shells that were considered as waste into spices. After that, we empowered over 800 women to start working for transforming the shells into spices. And we had deals with big companies and famous companies that took the shrimp. We had 100 production lines. They took the shrimp shells or they took the spices that the women produce for a good salary. After that, we moved to the second phase. We found out that the shrimp shells, we analyzed the shell and found out that it contains three components. One of them is called chitosan. Chitosan is a really important component. It goes through more than 70 industries. So we decided to extract chitosan naturally. First innovation was to extract chitosan, and the second was to extract it in an eco-friendly way. After that, we took the chitosan and we made a fertilizer, natural and organic fertilizer that competes with other chemical fertilizers on the market. Yes, and to make that process sustainable, we created 20 shrimp farms to make the process sustainable that they had, because the two previous phases depend on the shrimp shells. So to make it sustainable, we created 20 shrimp farms inside or around the lake, surrounding the lake. After that, we found out the water there was really polluted, so we took the chitosan, found out it can work as bacterial absorbent. So we created a filter that purifies the water, and it makes the water free from bacteria. After that, we faced Corona, and it was really hard period because our team members, 13 of our team members tested positive for COVID-19. So it was like an obstacle for all of us. So we decided to help the medical staff because they were really under a huge viral load. We decided to help them all, and we decided to create a face mask, including our chitosan filter. We took the chitosan, found out that our R&D team tested the chitosan. They found out that it can be a viral absorbent.
Wow, okay.
Yes. So we created a mask that competes with other masks in the market. Some famous masks can last for 3 days, while our mask lasts for 1 month. Wow. Yes, and it contains our chitosan from the shrimp shells. So this was briefly our project that we took the World Cup for.
Let me here pause for a minute and ask you a very quick question. So what's the difference between your own fertilizer and the organic fertilizer that we use in plantations, for example?
Okay, our fertilizer is extracted in a natural way, so it is natural fertilizer, while other fertilizers are somehow chemical, or they include chemicals at least. So it competes with other chemical fertilizers on the market. Not only that, it is also cheaper than the chemical fertilizers, for 40% cheaper than them.
So on average, how much of a packet can it cost, and like is it measured by a gram, kilogram, and how much does it cost on average?
Okay, it is measured by kilogram, yes, of course, but to ensure we were not able, or we're not. Okay.
You're not able to price it yet.
Yes, not to price it. We our main goal was to give that fertilizer to the farmers there, because they were suffering from the problems of the lake too.
Okay, so to help and not to like
yes,
profit from
yes,
it.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's very informative, actually. And how long does it take to process or like to manufacture your product? To be more specific, what is the rate of production?
Okay, the time for the process or the production process takes 1 week. So to produce a fertilizer that competes with other chemical fertilizers, it takes 1 week. From our R&D team, then we had to transfer the knowledge to the other or the beneficiaries in the village surrounding the lake by technical know-how sessions. So they were able to produce the fertilizer from the shrimp shells by a very simple way.
So if I may please ask, you told me that you're working on a competing mask, something which is more durable, lasts longer, and let's say has more quality and less penetration because it prevents the virus. This is something definitely sophisticated, but my question here, how many masks can you produce per week, perhaps?
Okay, I'm going to tell you that we have produced 5,000 masks, and we already distributed them to the doctors in the hospitals in the time of Corona period in Egypt, because that was a tough time for all of us. But in Egypt, it was really hard for the medical staff. So we produced 5,000 masks for doctors and nurses, and we have distributed them to all of them. Our mask, yes, it competes with other masks on the market, and it was tested for not being or not having flames, or for being safe for the body, for the face to use.
Iman, of course you've received a prize for such an achievement, which is actually very huge. Also tell me, in terms of support, have you received any kind of governmental or university support in regards to your Chido Shrimp project? And what do you advise those who look up to you as the role model?
Okay, for the support, of course, we have received lots of support, especially from Sheikh Al-Azhar, Dr. Ahmed Taib. He gave us support. He gave us support from the very beginning of the project till the end. Logistic and financial support. While our university, Al-Azhar University, helped us by providing halls for us to have our meetings and to help us to proceed more with our project. And from other organizations that helped us to financially, and of course Enactus board. Enactus board has helped us to reach the national or the international World Cup, because from the national to an international, it is really big difference. Like for example, in the national competition, we had our project, and then we scaled our project to the international using the help of the Enactus board.
Okay, so allow me to interrupt you here. As we can see on the screen, your video is displayed. So can you please give us a very brief idea about what's happening in the video?
You look very happy there.
Yes, it was in the day we took the cup. In the day that they announced that Enactus Egypt has won the World Cup. Yes, it was really amazing day. It was like all of us were not surprised. It was really warm day. Like all of us were very happy and extremely happy, enthusiastic for taking the cup. It was, by the way, because this was the first way for Enactus Azhar to participate in that program, Enactus program, and to take the national cup from the first year is a miracle. What about the World Cup?
Sorry, what is that over there?
So it was that day because the competition was online. It was not offline. So they were four.
Okay.
Yes, there were four countries that compete with us: Canada, Brazil, and India and Egypt.
Wow. Okay.
Yes,
That's
we
a
were
lot.
four. Yes, the top four.
Okay.
This was the last phase of the competition. So the top four, we were one of them. So they were taking videos for each country, and we were the winning country.
Wow, you reached the finale.
Yes.
Okay, allow me to ask you, in what ways has this project improved the quality of lives of people in the village understudy that you've mentioned earlier?
Okay. let me tell you that the income of the people there was extremely low, that they for 40 cents less than 40 cents a day. So we tried to increase their income by 320% for each family there. For 800 family, we increased their income for 320%. So it affected them hugely.
That's something definitely huge, and we really congratulate you for the success. We just had another question concerning the next year. Are you planning to support the upcoming teams as well?
Yes, of course. By the way, the Enactus idea is that each year they participate with different projects. Like, for example, our next year we're going to have a different project. Our team right now started the ideathon and started to think about the next idea.
Already?
Yes. So the next national competition, each university goes with a different project, and one university also comes to the world or the national competition, national champion. So they go to compete outside.
Well, I wish you the very, very best of luck with your future, Iman, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to all of those who watched us today. I'm pretty sure you just enjoyed it just as much as I did. And please wait for our upcoming weekly episodes. Bye.
Thank you very much, Farah and Mohammed, for the interesting spot. And dear viewers, that brings us to the end of this edition of today's Youth. Many thanks for watching. And don't forget to join us next week, same time. Till then, goodbye.